Peace and blessings, everyone. Sorry about the delay. I've had to switch to my laptop and, doing the best I can right now. Again, I do apologize about that. I do appreciate everyone that has. Doing the best I can right now. Oops. What? Peace and blessings, everyone. There we go. Sorry about that. My phone was open.
Yep, no worries, man. I know how it is. I know how, especially laptops, man. I'm actually looking towards building a PC myself, just because I'm done with those type of computers that are pre-built.
Yeah,
You can't take apart and then like put new parts in.
exactly. So,
And I know it's expensive to get one going right off the bat, but you can slowly buy part by part. It doesn't have to be an overnight thing. You can make this project over a year, because PCs keep updating. But
mm-hmm.
the great thing is, if something ever does break, you're only talking about maybe $100, $200 top fix. Everything else you don't need to update for 5 to 10 years. And then once again, just small updates. You don't need a whole case. You don't need a whole motherboard. You know. I'm looking forward to
Okay,
Brad,
so
man. Thank you for inviting me on.
no, thank you for being here, bro. I really appreciate it, and thanks for everyone else that's here. This is something that I'm looking to do, and hopefully, I'll be doing the same thing next week. As we get closer to the draft, and then probably one more, we get more people to join in, and this is going to be like what you would see in a regular draft room. You sit down, you discuss. When your time is up. What's up, Chad Schrader? Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. And we're going to do every team. Now,
Yep.
each section is 5 minutes. Now, some teams are going to. We all know some teams are going to go quicker. I'm going to entertain the trades. I'm also going to be using the PFF draft board. I tried some of the other ones, and some of them the trade system wasn't where I thought it would be. So, clap, clap, smack, smack. Yeah, you're right, jelly cakes. So, this, I think is going to be a little bit more suited. Now, I am going to do one round, but I'm going to keep all 7 rounds open for trade purposes. So this way I can, really get the full effect in reference to it, even though it'll give us, say, in later round. But I think it's a little bit more realistic when I have it open for all 7 rounds, and I'll stop right at the end of for the Kansas City Chiefs at selection 31. We won't go on, even though it'll come up with the Steelers. So, just wanted to let everyone know that. So, with that, right now we're going. Oh, and I'm going to use a clock. I'm going to have my clock open with a timer for each selection, so this way I can at least try and stay on time with what's going on. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and open the draft, and we're going to start with the Carolina Panthers. They're on the clock now. All right, let me pause that for a second. One thing I forgot to do is open my screen so we all can be on the same page.
Oh yeah. So we can. Yeah, so I can see what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
So
like, yeah. What am I looking at here? No, we
no,
don't.
that's on me. That's on me. I'm sorry about that.
No. Worries, man.
And here we go. And let's enter the draft. And we're going to start the draft. And now Carolina is on the board.
5 minutes.
And I'm going to give the start right now. So, further, sorry about that. So, further, we know that Carolina is looking at, as it says here, quarterback, wide receiver, edge. All right. And they changed the board now where they have the quarterbacks. They have Levis over Stroud now. Yesterday, Stroud was over Levis. I don't know why the board changed, but I'm not worrying about that. You know,
It has to be a quarterback, right? And it's either Bryce Young or
Well,
CJ Stroud.
that's where you and I will talk about it because
Okay.
the edge situation is Jalen Carter to me is the number one overall player on this in the draft for me,
No, same
but
here. Absolutely. I
but
think,
I also
yeah.
understand the team needs a quarterback. You have a new head coach. Do you want to go with the quarterback to be the face of the franchise? But also Will Anderson, being that he's that edge, he is that type of
Mhm.
dynamic edge rusher. Getting pressure on the quarterbacks. I mean, what's your thought, real quick?
My thought, I read an article earlier today because I was really interested on what's going to happen this first round pick. I know that the owner of the Panthers is in love with Bryce Young. I believe he's actually making a visit there today. If I'm not
Mm-hmm.
correct, they're coming to
Mm-hmm.
see one of the
Mm-hmm.
30 top that they want there. They want to see all the quarterbacks, by the way. And Frank Wright wants CJ Stroud. So that's interesting how that's going to go in the war room realistically. Besides us doing it right now, is the owner
Exactly.
going to be the one, or is the owner going to let his future, Frank Wright make the decision? That's yet to come. I'll be personally on my opinion. I'm just gonna say who I think. I think the first round pick's gonna go to Bryce Young. I think I've been looking all over today at every mock draft I could possibly find.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's got Bryce Young at number one.
I'm of the same mindset. I think that Bryce Young is the number one overall draft pick. I think everyone is pushing him, even though I think that in terms of my quarterback rankings, I have Stroud number one. But I'm of the same accord with you. I think for the most part, number one, what the owner wants, the owner gets. That's a good point right there, and I'm pushing that it's going to be Bryce Young. So um, let's see.
I mean, the reason also is, I agree with you in that Jalen Carter thing, but after they've given so much away to move up to number one and how things have changed, they just have to go quarterback. Too bad they should have thought that one through, that someone, like Jalen Carter could rise the ranks as a number one spot.
Hold on 1 second. I'm going to do something. Okay, so what I just did, I paused, and I'm with you further. I agree with you in terms of Bryce Young. What's up, Daniel Barry Sports? Thanks for tapping in. I really appreciate you. What's up, funny parrot? Also, if you guys haven't already done, make sure you like today's episode, share it. Also, subscribe to us if you haven't. But with that being said, we're gonna go with Bryce Young. So the selection is gonna go ahead in.
We're going to go with what the owner wants.
Yep.
Well, maybe the owner might change his mind today. That's what is the crazy thing, that there's still so much time left before this draft, and like we just said, he's there today meeting the owner. He might change his mind today and go, "We're going CJ Stroud."
Nope. We already sent it in.
But
It's
no. We just got to go with what today is.
yeah.
What we know with our personal information, we got to go with Bryce.
Mhm.
I think that's how it is. And
Remember, we have time. We have time next week
that
to just
5 minutes, I got the clock going.
so.
Okay, so we
Right
got
now, the
Texans.
the the Texans are on the board. So, um,
Well, they
do
need a
they go
quarterback.
Jalen Carter or everything that I've read and heard is it's a toss up between Carter and a quarterback, and I know that they were in love with Bryce Young, but they also like C.J. Stroud also. But it's a matter of do they like C.J. Stroud and love Carter, or do they like both players? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it also could be Anthony Richardson. I was looking at some articles thinking that Anthony Richardson might move up and be taken for number two if it's not going to be either Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. But most of the demograph articles, that was just one that I thought was different than the normal take. But the normal take
Hmm.
right now seems like the Texans are going to go with whatever the Panthers don't take, and that's going to be quarterback position.
Exactly, and that's how I thought it would be too. So, and it's a matter of like we said, is it Stroud and Richardson now? So, or Levitz. Let's be real. We have
Oh yeah,
Keanu
yeah, yeah.
with Levitz.
There's
I know
plenty of
here
time on the
for
clock. Plenty of time on the clock. I still got 3:40. I don't know about you.
yeah. I'm right with you in terms of that time frame. So,
Still got
um,
time to talk about it. CJ Stroud, he's a good fit for Texans style and scheme. I think he'd do well in Texas. He's Ohio State quarterback, sophomore coming out. Uh, ho- Darn, I can't remember how tall is he again. He's taller than Bryce
he's
Young.
6'3". I think he's 6'3", 200. Hold on, let me take a look here. I think we could see more. 6'3", 214 pounds.
Yeah.
So, um, in terms of what he brings to the table, his leadership, his big play ability, I think he probably fits a little bit better than what Levitz or Richardson. He's a lot more refined than those two. So, um, for me, he brings a whole lot more to the table. So, and I don't know. I'm strongly, if I'm going to pick between the three quarterbacks, and I'm going, it's CJ Stroud from me. So, um,
Yeah, I think so. He's the more what do you say, ready, um what's the word they say in the combine?
pro ready. I know what you mean.
Though it like all around, he has the mechanics, or
The all around
there's
skill
another
set.
word.
Yes,
My friend says it all the time, and I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But he has the mechanics right now. He's ready to go. He's the quarterback. You don't need a year or two to train. D'Amico Ryans will be able to put him in right away for the Texans, and they will
exactly.
automatically see a progressed team.
So I'm with you. So with that being said, then I'm going to send a ticket in, and it's going to be quarterback CJ Stroud that's going to be selected.
All right. Stop. Reset.
Okay, so now comes the big part where the fun begins. The Cardinals.
Yeah.
They. Sorry about that.
They need a guard, a center, a defensive line, and a cornerback.
Exactly. So get this right. But now the thing is, do they open themselves up for a trade? So, and that's what I want to look at. I want to look at the trade offers for them right now with this. Come on, open up the trades. Why are we not open up the trades?
I read an interesting mock draft today that
Here
has
it
the
is.
Colts moving up with Arizona and the Colts having the third pick, and they were going to pick quarterback Anthony Richardson. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, but right now, if we look at for
Okay,
right
let's see.
now, per this with the trade offers, you have Seattle, Atlanta, Chicago. Right now, those are the top three. It stays in the top 10 with 5, 8, and 9. Um, if
No,
you take Seattle, I mean, I know realistically, I've heard about the Colts possibly wanting to jump up and take
yeah.
trade them up along with them. What's up, Jalen Hurts?
I don't see those teams in particular making that jump.
Yeah, but the question is right now, I could see Seattle because they may want to go for the defensive tackle. They may want to go for Jalen Carter. So
Yeah,
and
yeah,
with
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah. I've
with
seen that.
that is the question is All right, if I'm Seattle to me has two picks, so I would entertain this right now, and it's a 46% chance. Now, if I threw in, let's just say we threw in,
What is who's well, where is it?
what are you looking for, players?
Yeah, Will Anderson.
That's the other one,
Will Anderson and what
Jalen Carter.
and this guy has Tyree Wilson. I don't know why they're selecting him. What do you see Tyree Wilson on the he's an edge also?
Yeah, Tyree Wilson from Texas Tech.
Right.
He's a good one. But if I'm going to take an edge, I'm not taking Wilson over Anderson. I'm just not. Because Anderson also is a little bit more stout in the run game. He's fundamentally sound. He learned very well having played at Alabama. How much time do you have on your clock?
220.
Okay. So that's why with me, it's do we trade or do we keep the pick and go with Anderson or Carter?
I think
If I'm going to take the
I'm going
trade,
yeah. What would you do? Just I will hear you out. We got plenty of time. We got
I'm
2
going to
minutes.
listen. I'm going to see if Seattle's going to give me their two first round draft picks. Right now, there's a 51% chance if I did a third and 168 for their fifth and their 20, because those are two first round draft picks that the Cardinals
Okay.
could get.
You want to do that? We got a minute and 30. That
Yeah,
sounds
I think
interesting. That sounds interesting. I could see, and then see. I'm gonna if you're doing that,
done.
though, I'm
It's not
going.
going through. They're
Oh,
not
okay.
accepting it. So, to be honest with you, then if they're not going to accept it, if I'm
I'll,
Arizona, it's either Carter or Anderson right now.
I'd go
Because I'm not.
Anderson. I think that's what they're.
Okay,
Every
that's
article
fine.
that I'm reaching at right now is Arizona keeps this pick, and they go with the safest for their defensive on the board. And knowing Jonathan Gannon, you know what? God,
All
but
right,
Jonathan
no,
Gannon
we're
could
going with
go for Jalen.
Anderson.
We
We're,
got 1 minute. God, this is a hard one because I know Jonathan Gannon picked up Jordan Davis and N'Kobe Dean during that draft. But was it him or was it Howie Roseman? I don't think it was Jonathan Gannon.
no, it doesn't matter.
Will
I
Anderson.
think it would be. I think it would be Anderson because he's a pass rush specialist. So that's who I think I would go with right now.
Yeah, I
If
think you're right.
so, I'm going to go ahead and send in the pick, and it's going to be Will Anderson.
Okay, next on the board.
Is the Colts. And right now it's between Levis or Richardson. I can tell you that right now. If I'm
Yeah,
them, I'm looking at either one of the two. So hold on 1 second. Let me see some.
Shane Steichen is definitely going to get a quarterback. Oh, we are out. We got to make. Oh wait, no. I'm redoing the clock. Whoops. Here we go. To reset it. Okay, so the Colts. Let's see. Steichen. What's Steichen want? What does the owner of the Colts want?
So Chad was saying about the Steelers, wants Steelers to take a tackle. He agrees with Kurt further on the Cardinals. So yeah, we went there. So right now we're on the Colts, and to me, the Colts are going to take Richardson or Levitz,
Right.
and of the
And then,
two, I would think they would go with Richardson.
well,
Um, Go ahead. What do you have?
well, I was just reading an article that they made it clear statement that they would prefer Bryce Young or CJ Stroud as their
Hmm.
top picks, but made it known that that's probably not going to be on the board by the time that it comes around. And I don't. The way they can move up would be one more spot. I think was what I was saying earlier with that mock draft.
Exactly.
But I think their owner is in favor right now for Richardson. What is your take?
I'm like you, but here we have Detroit because Seattle's not going to need a quarterback, so you'll have two quarterbacks. What can you get from Detroit then to move back two
Mm-hmm.
spots? Maybe you can get their six in their number 48. Let me see
Okay.
something. That has a 63% chance of working because Seattle does not need a quarterback. So even if they jump over, because more than likely the Lions want Carter as a defensive lineman. So both your quarterbacks can still be there, and you're picking up a draft pick. Because the Lions don't need a quarterback. Seattle does not need a quarterback because they
Right,
just
right.
recently.
Okay, yeah, you could do that. I'd see
Let's
that's
see if we can get
acceptable.
this trade. Let me see if this one.
It
It's
didn't
not
go
going
through.
through.
I wonder
Are
what's
you
wrong.
serious?
That should have gone through. Wait, is
All
there no
right.
way you can just redo it and change the pick and try it again, or no?
I'm
'Cause that's
sure.
wasting the
I
time.
can. I can do that. I can even go this
Yeah, do
55.
a higher bid. Yeah, it has to go. Yeah, this has to go through. Come on, there we go. All right,
Accepted. There you go.
all right. That
So
makes it more realistic. So now the Lions, you know, let's
the
talk
Lions are
about
going
this.
to
There's a
go
lot
for.
to
I
talk
can.
about.
They're going for Jalen Carter. That's the defensive lineman. Their needs are wide receiver, tight end, defensive lineman. But it's always been defense because their offense is so
Oh
prolific.
yeah, their defense they gave up the most points in the NFL last year.
Exactly.
Terrible.
So
And I want to also put up they're crazy for not putting defensive backs on that list. Their defensive backs were the worst pass rushing defense in the league. They threw you saw the Eagles throw all over
yeah,
them.
yeah.
And
So do you want to go with Witherspoon then, the cornerback, or Eva Gonzalez, the two top cornerbacks?
yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I
Cuz
mean, I would say I'm going to say Carter for the simple fact of let me see what they're saying in the chat. No, no one's saying anything else. So I would say Carter because of his pass rushing. I mean, what he gives you inside and outside, he could play the run and the
yeah.
pass and pass rush. But Witherspoon is for me the best cornerback. He's going to lock down your their number one receiver, or at least be able to compete with him. So it's just a matter of which position do we value more. Is it the interior defense alignment or is it Witherspoon?
All I just gotta say is every draft pick or these mock drafts have them getting Witherspoon or the edge Tyree Wilson.
Ari Wilson?
So if they do move up from that spot, I could totally see it being Jalen Carter or Witherspoon. That's what my take's going to be. We have 45 seconds. Let's talk
All
it
right,
out.
then let's go with Witherspoon. We're going to
Witherspoon.
go with Witherspoon. I'm going to send that in right now to Witherspoon.
Witherspoon. I think that's what they need the most and make a biggest impact on that defense because, like I said, their pass rushing. I mean, their pass defense is terrible. They give up so much yardage and touchdowns last year. It was ridiculous.
Okay, so now Seattle is on the clock, and I'm going to be brutally honest. They would flip at this opportunity right now. With Jalen Carter sitting right there, that get
Oh yeah,
there's a no. We don't
no
even have to
brainer.
really to discuss this. So um, I'm to the point where I'm just saying, you know what? Let's go. Let's get him in. Let's sign him. So I mean, how do you feel about that?
I've seen most places on these mock drafts where that's where he will land
End
is
up
Seattle. I believe that's where Jalen Carter is going to make an
okay.
impact. Is Seattle?
Then
I think
here
they
we
will take him.
Here we go. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go with Jalen Carter to Seattle. I think that's a very good pick for them. And the
Oh,
Colts are on the clock. And guess what? Both their quarterbacks are still there.
yep, they sure are,
Now
and
we
they
don't
got
want
that pick.
to we don't want to chance anything because you have the Raiders, and I know Atlanta doesn't need a quarterback. None of the teams after them. Maybe Tennessee. So, but I wouldn't trade back anymore with for the Colts. I mean, I think they're perfect right where they're at to take a
Mhm.
quarterback. And you said that they love Anthony Richardson, right?
That's correct. And another thing why I think he would be a good fit with Shane Steichen being their new coach is he's just come off of playing with Jalen Hurts and Anthony Richards, the same style quarterback. He can be a
Mhm.
dual threat and dynamic.
True. I look at him more in the mobile Cam Richardson, but yeah, I mean Cam, what you call it from the Panthers back in the day. Um, but yeah, I'm with you. I think it's going to be Anthony Richard. I mean, Levis is probably a little bit more. They both need work as far as quarterbacks, but
Yeah.
um,
Levis is the less power throwing quarterback, but he will be more comparable to oh my god, I'm having a who's the Bills quarterback? Please help me out.
Josh
Josh
Allen,
Allen, thank you. He's gonna end up, I think, being Levis would be like Josh
yeah,
Allen. But
Josh
in the
Allen and
future,
Richardson
not
is
right off the
Anthony,
bat.
and Richardson is Cam Newton. That's what I was thinking of.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, you know what? Let's go with Richardson then.
Richardson. I think that's
So
where
I'm
it's gonna
sending
be.
it
Oh,
sending
so
it
now
in
we
right
got the
now.
Raiders? Yep. All right. I like this. I
So
like this.
now we have the Raiders on the clock. So um, they need a lot of help. So
Yes, they
whether
do.
it's quarterback, offensive line, or defensive back, you know, I'm not. You want if you might want to say Rich a wide receiver with Quentin Johnson because is what's his name? How much longer is he going to stay? You want to stay there, or how long? How much longer does he have? To play Cooper.
Hmm.
So, but you also have Josh as the head coach. Will he? Does he want to go with Levitz? I mean, will Levitz fit into his system? And or will he go with an offensive lineman? I mean, you have Skaronski there too, so and Wilson is a great defensive edge, and you have Gonzalez, so it would
Yeah.
fit one of all of their needs. So, um,
So what
you
I'm
know,
reading in all most of these articles is that they got Jimmy Garoppolo as quarterback. Is that correct?
yeah, they
Is
signed
that right?
Garoppolo.
And one thing, and they got Sauce Gardner.
Oh, Sauce Gardner's with the Jets.
Oh, he okay. Never mind. Never mind. This my article might be
So,
old. And then
so
what?
go ahead.
I was thinking that it's going to be Gonzalez,
The cornerback.
cornerback
So let me ask you this. All right.
Christian Gonzalez.
Why not? Why not? If we're gonna go with Garoppolo, if we're definitely all in on him, why not solidify the offensive line and go with Skaronski to protect him?
I don't know about getting offensive linemen in the first round. I think you can get them in later rounds. And right
Mhm.
now, one of the big top, defensive backs in the league right now that'll make a bigger impact, I think, would be Christian Gonzalez. These are more of your top 10 first round picks. I see Peter going later in later rounds. I don't. He might not even be a top 10 pick. I know he's a great offensive lineman. It's
Oh
just
yeah, no, he's the best.
he's the best.
All right, I
I
got
just
5 seconds to make a
I think
decision.
the Raiders need to make
I'll
a
go with you. I'll go with you
okay.
with the cornerback.
I think everyone right now is thinking defense. I really do. And if you're not going quarterback, you're going defense.
All right. So now the Falcons are on the clock,
Hey, Falcons need defense
and
too.
no, they can go defense, but since they're staying with what you call at quarterback, this is where I think Quentin Johnson or Jackson Smith and Jigba come into play. One of those two are going to be perfect for them.
Where is
Um,
Murphy? I'm seeing three different articles here saying that they like Miles Murphy, edge from Clemson, but I'm not seeing
Miles Murphy,
him here.
that's way too high for him to go in the top
Okay.
10. Then you would need to trade back, to do that. Right now, everything that I see is wide receiver. When you pick him with Pitts from last year and the
Uh-huh.
wide receivers that they have, that would help their offense a whole lot more. They can do still. You can still get cornerbacks. You can still get rushers later. Their biggest thing right now is if you wanted to say quarterback, but realistically for me, it's wide receiver. And I'm looking at Jackson Smith and Jigma over Johnson. I know Johnson is a big body guy. He's a tall guy. He's fast, but he's not as physical, and he has his lapses. Jackson Smith and Jigba, he's quick. He has good movement. He has good hands. So he is dynamic. He just doesn't have that elite speed, but he has good enough speed. So
Right.
For me, it would be Smith and Jigba over Johnson as a wide receiver. The only thing I would honestly pause is the edge rusher with Tyree Wilson. I mean, I really do like him, but
That's another. Yep.
let me see what they're saying in the chat. Hold on a second. Cam Newton, nice pick. Jimmy G will be out on the field like Walker. True. I think Falcons need a wide receiver. Yep. I think Jackson. So Jalen Hurts is saying Jackson also. So um, I'm just gonna make that move, and I'm gonna go with Jackson Smith and Jigba. I
There
just
you
think
go.
he's the right. I think he's the right fit for them. So I'm gonna send that in for Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Send it in.
All right. So now we have the Bears on the clock,
Bears on the clock. They
and
need. Yeah, they need it pretty much a little bit of everything. It looks like.
right now they're sitting pretty right now with the offensive line because with what you call it, you brought in some nice pieces offensively. With what they did, with what they've been doing this whole, and they've worked on their defense. So they did do well on their defense. So um, and Skaronski is right from North. He's from Chicago, the Chicago area. So
Yeah.
there's that storyline behind that. So I'm thinking Skaronski. In terms of that, I mean, you could get wide receiver, but you got what more from they got more from Carolina before. You have what you call who came over from Pittsburgh. They already have Moon. They have some good receivers over there. They have running good running backs. So you want to, and don't forget with Justin Fields, you really want to solidify because he was running for his life. So to me, it would be Peter Skoronsky. He would solidify their line and help them greatly. Fits perfectly when you think
Right.
about it.
I got.
Northwestern is in the Illinois Chicago area. Boom, he's
I've
right
been.
at home, so he
I've
knows it.
been. Can I just look up who is this guy that everyone's talked about? I read in 3 different articles now that just came out today. Who's Darnell Wright, offensive line from Tennessee, that supposedly might
He's
go?
a right tackle. He's a right tackle. Yeah, he's good. He's more of a right tackle. They got him ranked number 20.
Okay.
So I mean, now hey, let's see about trading out. I mean, Tennessee wants to trade up. Um,
Yeah, and I could
that's
see.
only moving back that'll move back 2 spots. But what do you give for them for him? And let me see who else. The Houston at 12.
I could see Tennessee moving up. And you want to hear me out on this?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead, go
I
ahead. I
think
think
that
Tennessee will move up.
I think they would get Will Levis here.
Yes, I agree with you.
And
I
that's
agree
where
with
I was
you.
like, whoa, this is a perfect trade. It makes sense. Like that was like it clicked. It was like they want
So
Will Levis. That's why they're doing this.
you're not going to do 41. So if you do 72 and 147, no, let me do this. And a third rounder for the future. It's not going to take it. Maybe a fourth. I'm going to just see if we can trade the number 9 for their number 11, number 72, and a fourth rounder in 2024. You want to try it?
Yeah. Wow.
Done. So the
Wow.
trade is on the book. So that means the Titans are on the
Reset.
book. And
5 minutes
no,
on
you
the
don't
clock.
reset it. You don't reset it. You don't
Oh,
reset
you
it.
can't really. Oh.
No, they take over that time frame because that's what they're doing.
Oh, got you.
So I have it.
I'm
I
going
have it.
Will
It's
Levis.
2 minutes. It's 2 minutes. But
Okay.
yeah, you're
Talk it
right.
over. Uh,
No, I'm with you. They would trade up for Will Levis.
yeah, he's the dark horse candidate, and I could totally see him working well in Tennessee. It would be Ryan Hill's replacement, but it would be perfect. And Levis is
Exactly.
six
So
four. He's a good straight athlete. He's got a cannon
yes.
for a right shoulder. Like we were talking about, he's the future Josh Allen. He could put Tennessee back on the map.
No,
Mid
I agree with you. Plus, you
complete.
have the running game.
Yeah.
What's up, LT Cards? Thanks for tuning in. I really
How
appreciate you.
you? Hello. Help us
So,
make these picks.
but I'm with you. I'm with you on Levis. So, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to send in
All
right now.
right. And Levis. Wow, this is going to be just like, if this is real, then the Eagles are on the clock with the offensive linemen that everyone doesn't want us to get, and Lucas Van Ness, and then Robinson's there. Woo! And
Exactly.
I'm an Eagles fan.
No, exactly. But,
And Edge
really,
Tyree Wilson's there. Oh man,
exactly.
and
So
you could
this is
get,
where and you have trade opportunities. So, that's why this is, you look at everything that's on the table. Houston wants to move back up, because they
so,
already took the quarterback. There's what you call it there, wide receiver, so,
you
I
know what?
get it.
Who else wants to make an offer?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm going to look at for you guys. You got Green Bay at 15.
Green Bay.
Do you want to move back that far? The Commanders at 16.
You know what?
you
Go
know,
to the Packers. They have a lot of picks to give, and that is a potentially realistic.
Just understand that's 5 picks. So, oh, I forgot to bring up my article board is on my computer. So, with Green Bay, if you wanted to move back 5 picks, it's a 51% chance. I know
Oh,
you guys are looking at picks anyway. So,
yeah, I don't want 45. I would rather go back to like 116, 149. Yeah, 149, 170.
realistically, you're going to, and then yeah, I don't see Green Bay giving up their whole draft board just for that 5 spots, because you're talking about three out of their draft, right? They have two,
Right.
4, 6, 8, 10. Well, maybe. Let's see. Let's see. You
Wait,
said
wait.
170.
Yeah, just want to see. I don't think that'll go well. Like, uh, I wouldn't take. I don't think realistically that would go through. I'd take the
No, I
one.
don't either.
I'd take the
Um,
170 away.
I think you could probably get these three extra
Yeah,
picks. That I
right.
think you could get. There you go.
There we
And now
go.
the what you call is on the clock. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to either take the wide receiver or a tight end. And I knew it. Kincaid was at 15, but more than likely,
At
you
Notre
changed.
Dame.
But I would say they're going to go with Quentin Johnson. I mean, as a wide receiver to plan along with what you call it.
Oh, to outbeat the wow, wow, wait. This is a really interesting draft board now. Yeah, because the Titans just moved up to get Levis. The
Yep.
Packers now want to move up to get their wide receiver.
Jalen Hurts wants somebody to get. Oh, he's talking about the Eagles. That's what he's
Yes, yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah. He wants to
I
get.
got you.
We just moved back. We might get him, man. We might get him.
So, do we because we got 2 minutes roughly. Do we take the wide receiver Quentin Johnson, or do we even chance, or do you go with Kalijah Cansey, the defensive tackle? I mean, he's another good one. So, um,
Plenty of
let me
time on the
see.
clock. I got
I,
140.
I got 152.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, we could split the difference. We still have time. So, I mean, that's the
Yeah.
point.
Uh,
So right now you have Scarante. No, we're not going Scarante. So it's either going to be Johnson or Cansey. That's who I would think they would want to take. What do you think?
oh, of course.
Plus, you have Bryce Love. You want to give him as much coverage as possible. You know what? Because and with the Aaron Rodgers, all that situation with the Jets. You know what? It is going to be Quentin Johnson.
It's got to be. I'm not gonna. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't think it's gonna be Cansey. If they're moving up, they're gonna. They want a weapon.
Yeah. So the selection is going to be Quentin Johnson,
All right.
wide receiver from TCU. What's up, Tudo? Thanks for tuning
So,
in, bro. Thank you. Massive salute and reps to Big Boss Coach Ed.
from
Oh,
Italy, that's badass.
muting. Jeez, man, I keep forgetting.
So the Bears are now on the clock, and I think they're gonna
Yeah,
go for Peter Skrzynowski.
exactly. exactly. You drop back and he's still there. So,
Yeah, exact, and
you
that's where
know,
I think he'll land. I think that's an. I don't need. Do if you want to discuss a little, we got plenty of time.
no,
We
we
can,
have time. We have plenty of time
yeah.
because you still like we still have Cansey still there too.
Lucas
So
Van Ness is still
yeah,
there.
the loop is
Tyree
exactly.
Wilson
And
could still be going to the Bears. Both those edges are very good. Cansey as well, just
if
like
you're
you
going to take a
said.
tackle, if you're going to take a tackle seriously, wait a minute, no, Darnell Wright. You said who's the tackle you were talking about?
Darnell Wright. I thought the Bears were looking at Darnell Wright today. There's articles everywhere talking
Oh,
about
wait a minute. I'm
Darnell
sorry.
Wright.
I'm sorry. Wait a minute.
I don't know why he's so far down the list and why all of a sudden these articles are making him like he's over Peter Skronowski.
Wait a minute. I'm trying to. Skoronski is good, bro. I'm telling you, he is the best offensive lineman. And
Oh
you,
yeah, I
this,
know.
this
Or
guy is a
Paris
tackle.
Johnson Jr., but I still think Peter Skronowski's the guy, especially from Northwestern. There's the reputation of Northwestern
Tennessee.
offensive line is like
Let's see. I have
Wisconsin.
Darnell Wright.
Uh,
Wait a minute.
I'm going with Peter Skonowski.
Yeah, I'm going. I
I,
mean,
I I think it's an easy one.
yeah, I'm with you.
Now the Texans are
Wait a minute. So I'm going to go. We're going to go Skoronski. So let's go ahead and send that selection in.
all right.
And let's restart the clock.
Restarting the clock.
There. Okay. Now the Texans are on the clock.
All right, so they
So
just
they
got
have their
CJ
quarterback.
Stroud, remember, in the second pick
Yep.
earlier.
They have Stroud. So um,
What are the
wide
weapons for wide
receivers, center,
receivers?
defensive line. So, um, I mean, they need a little bit of everything. Plus, you have a defensive minded coach now. So
Mhm.
you already got him a quarterback. So do we look at Cansey, Van Ness, or even Deontay Banks? I mean, as a cornerback. So, but I would think more defensive line is what they would probably need. And for me, it would probably be edge with between Wilson, Cansey, and Van Ness. But I mean, what are you reading there further?
Uh, I see many articles having them pick Smith Najaba from Ohio State wide receiver, but he already
Already,
fell.
he's already gone.
Already taken off the board. So I was wondering if maybe we could just see the wide receivers the next top one because I sees their
Sure.
second team was quarterback and their second one was wide receiver on their list of needs. So that I know they need a wide receiver. They might
Well, yeah,
be able to
you
get
can
one.
get Do you
Yeah,
want to move
later.
Zay Flowers up? Now the thing about
No,
it is,
they're gonna take somebody at this pick. I think.
look, there's so many wide receivers later in the
And
draft.
yeah, later in the draft, right?
So that's why now you have a plethora. Every last one of these wide receivers, you can do something with in their offense and build up from them. So that's why, in terms of, yes, it's a need, but is it a priority right now over an offensive
So,
lineman or a defensive player? I mean,
so
remember, you have a new defensive coach, so
that's correct. So
so
my question
it's
for you is, it's obviously going to be defense, and you see right there the top three picks. It's either going to be Lucas Van Ness, it's going to be Cainty, or it's going to be Wilson. Uh, my only question would be, which edge do you think Texans
I
would
would
take?
take probably in this situation. You know what? Wilson is from Texas too. He's a good defensive edge rusher. Pass
Mhm.
quarter. He rushes the quarterback very well. But Van Ness is also able to rush the quarterback, but he also can bump inside at times, and he can play the run, and he can be physical on the inside. So he's a little bit more versatile there. Wilson, on the other hand, while he can rush the quarterback, he can drop back into coverage on times too. So, but if I'm going to think about it, and what you call came from San Francisco, he had a Joey Bosa type. I think it's going to be Van Ness.
Oh, really? I thought you were going to say Cansey.
No, I think it's going to be Van Ness.
I do too.
So,
I was thinking the Eagles
let
were
me see.
actually
Does
going to take
anybody
him.
say anything? No, nobody says anything else in the chat. So Right now, I'm going to go with Van Ness as the pick. I think he would definitely fit into what D'Amico Ryans is trying to do over there.
Yeah.
And he
Oh,
gets
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. That's good. Yeah. I didn't
Now
think
we
about
have the
that.
JETS, 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 Jets on the clock. So let me restart the clock with them. Bro, this is going, man, I really appreciate you with this. So, all right, the Jets need an offensive lineman. So, Paris Johnson probably would be the one for me. Can they trade back? What is Washington? Why would Washington want to move up?
Yeah.
No, I can't see Washington moving up. Seattle with number 20. What was Seattle want? All right, defense. We got defense alignment for them before. It's always going to be defense with them, and there's you can always add more defense alignment for them, or another cornerback with them, or even a
Isn't it?
safety.
I'm reading this
So
article saying that the Jets might take Darnell.
Darnell Wright. It's either Wright or as far as tackles, it's either Paris Johnson or Darnell Wright. I agree with that. I mean, you might want to consider Broderick Jones over Harrison. That's how I look at it. But if I'm going to take a tackle, it's going to be one of those two. But right
Mhm.
now, their issue is they don't have a true left tackle because you have whatchamacallit who's coming back off of his adventure, his injuries and weight loss. You have the rookie they got, Max. I forgot his name, but he came from Louisiana, the Raging Cajun. So he's going to probably be their right tackle. You bring him back. Um, what you call the other guard who got hurt. They also need a center. So, but I don't think they're going to draft a center this high. So the question is, do they take Paris Johnson at 13 or do they trade back? Because right now there are teams that are wanting to move up. I mean Washington could because you don't know what's up with what's his name too because he's coming back off of that knee injury. What's his name from Ohio State?
Um.
Yeah, I know you know what I'm talking about. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, so the question is, do the Jets trade back, or do they just go ahead and take this number pick and just go ahead and take the tackle? I mean, you can trade back and you can have a couple, but I don't see right. Darnell Wright is a right tackle. That's what he's played at Tennessee. Harrison, you can probably get. He can play the left tackle, but you can also trade back. Do you want to, and probably get something a little bit more? So that's the thing. I just want to just go at Johnson and just go with it and just move on. But I mean, what do you think it further? Honestly, further?
Sorry, I'm getting yelled at right now. I
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, family going on. I don't know what's going on. It has nothing to do with me. What do you take?
No, I was just saying I would rather take Paris Johnson, the offensive tackle from Ohio State. But you can also trade back and probably still get him, or one of the other tackles. So, but again, it's a win-win whichever way they go. So that's why I asked, what's your thoughts? I got about a minute left anyway.
Uh, I think they,
JE.
I think they're gonna go with offensive linemen. They need a
Yeah.
tackle badly.
Do we trade back though? That's what I'm asking. Do we trade back or
I don't think so. I think they're ready to make their pick. They don't want
okay?
somebody to go. And what was the one we were talking about? Right?
Yeah, Darnell Wright is a right tackle.
I'm seeing him, or also the Jets could use Brian Branch. I'm seeing here. It's either you see
Safety.
Brian.
Yeah, he's a safety, but I'm not going to take him over an offensive lineman. I just can't because remember, if you're getting Aaron Rodgers, you want to make sure you get that offensive line solidified. Remember, they're also going to be getting Aaron Rodgers, so and the new
Right.
weapons that they got, so they want that offensive line. So it's do we just go ahead and take it?
Yeah, I would.
So, with that being
Darnell.
said,
Or yes. Yeah, go
Paris
with.
Johnson.
Yep.
Paris Johnson, left tackle.
A good. I think it's a solid
Now
fit.
the Patriots are on the clock.
Patriots.
Let me start the clock with them.
Yeah.
Do they go offensive line or do they take a defensive player? Because you can take an edge or you can take a tackle. And there's Bill Belichick that we're talking about. And right now, you can go cornerback, defensive
Oh.
tackle, or edge.
I think. You think this is where Wilson might land?
Yeah, he's good value. He's ranked number 9. You're getting him at 14. So he's still a good defensive player. He would fit, for the most part, into their system. So he's versatile. I mean, like I said before, he can drop into coverage. I'm not saying he's going to play all the time in coverage, but you can drop him. So it's not like he's more of an outside linebacker as opposed to a defensive end. So
Mhm.
so you still get more with him.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Why is Joey Porter Jr. not even on the list here? Is he somewhere
he
close?
is on the list. He's on the board. Here he is.
There he is.
Yeah, he's at 18.
I see many articles having the Patriots pick Joey Porter Jr. I don't know why. Let's read about it.
But
Why?
I think it's because of how they're projecting the board, and right now the
Oh,
way
they
our board
go.
is going, I mean Tyree Wilson. Honestly, I'll be honest. I didn't even think we would have him drop this far down, but I mean I've seen some selections where he would go number 3, but hey, the way things are went on this board, it just that's the way the cookie bounced. So, but you think it's Wilson? I think it's Wilson. So, do we want to entertain any trades or just take Wilson? Let me take a look at the trades.
Yes.
Detroit 18. New England has a plethora of picks. I'm not trading out of the first round. I mean, can I get second round of next year for this?
Wow.
Ooh, you might get a second and a third, or a second and a fourth. Let's see. I could probably get it and move back 4 spots and get 2 picks for next year. Next year,
I
second
like
round.
that. I actually like that because I don't see
But what is Detroit going to need?
Detroit would get another cornerback there, and there's plenty on the board still available.
They took a cornerback earlier. This is where they can get the tight end.
Oh yeah, the replacement.
Yeah, here we
Yeah,
go.
and the
Here it is.
Ken. How do you say his name? It starts with a K, and
Kincaid.
he's
Kincaid.
available right now to take.
Yes.
I'm going with him, Dalton Kincaid. I
Yep.
don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Sorry if
Yes,
I'm.
Dalton Kincaid. You're 100% correct. So
That's where I honestly see that happening. That makes a lot of sense because I honestly thought that's might be what the Packers were going to do. But if the Packers were going to supposedly move up, they're totally going to get that wide receiver in Quentin that we took earlier. So this makes
exactly.
perfect sense right now. I could totally see this happening. This would be an interesting draft, man. I got to make some popcorn right now. I'm itching because the Eagles are about to get on the board. I'm like, we moved back. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
I had to fix my phone. Sorry. So Dalton Kincaid is a selection, and that means the Eagles are back on the clock. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think Brian Branch is the perfect pick for you guys right now as a safety. What's your thoughts?
Um, where did I guess Robinson's way down on the list.
Robinson,
I just want to see where he is right now on
the tackle.
no. Byron
Bijan Robinson.
Bijan Robinson. Thank you, like mustard. I know people in the chat want him.
Over here, he's
Nolan
rated around
Smith is
27.
there.
He's down close to 27. The only team you probably have to worry about is Dallas because I don't think anyone else is going to take a running back.
Well, supposedly the Jets possibly could, because you know how
we just selected for the Jets.
I know. They moved up. God, Nolan Smith is there. I would love to have him as well. Banks is there, but like you said, Branch is there.
Yep.
Miles Murphy's there.
Exactly.
Joey Porter Jr. is still there.
Exactly. Tyree Wilson is still there.
This is, as an Eagles fan,
you have a plethora exactly at the 15th spot. You have a lot that
I don't think we're going to get Robinson. I'm just going to throw that one out there. I just don't see the Eagles doing that. We haven't done it since 1986. I don't think we're going to do it this year. Even though we all want them. Sorry, Eagle fans.
You all want them, but the question is,
and they're all going to be like fire Howie Roseman all over again.
But the question I have for you in terms of Robinson, do you really need him? Is he a need?
He would help out a lot with Gainwell. He would take over Gainwell's spot, and I guess Boston Scott, and we got the guy from Seattle. But this guy would, Robinson would make an overall immediate impact. But the thing is, we would complain all year that we're not going to use him enough, because that's what the Eagles' style of offense is. We interchange running backs all game long.
So let me ask you, in terms of
got more yards than Miles Sanders.
What's the biggest need with your team? Is it going to be defense or is it going to be offense right now?
I'm going to go defense. It's big
exactly problem. So, and then with the interior of your defensive line, you have Fletcher Cox, but who's behind him and what you would call it from Georgia?
Jordan Davis.
Yeah, who's behind those two in the interior?
Barnett and Wilson.
Okay, so you have something. So, and I'm just trying to attack different things. You cornerbacks, you have three starter level cornerbacks, correct?
Yes, but they're only two very short term. We're going to need replacements very soon with those.
Okay,
offense completely stacked. I wouldn't even worry about offense right now. So we got Davis, Street, Cox. Tupa Ludu. He's really good. He'll be coming back from an injury from last year. Josh Sweat, Derek Barnett as defensive ends.
So my question is, that's why I say Brian Branch, because you just lost what you would call your safety.
I would actually see that actually happen. I'd rather get Brian. And it falls right in the range of where that would, but the only Joey Porter would be also good though too. Nothing wrong. Yeah, but you know what? We really do. We got Terrell Edmonds, but he's only on a 1-year deal.
So
Wilson could also. I think also Wilson could be because we need an edge. What are the other edges available right now? Wasn't that one from Georgia? He would fit more of our style.
You have Nolan Smith, who's around 22.
Smith. I think I'd go with Nolan Smith.
That's who you want?
I think that's who I'm
going. You're making this selection, bro. I mean, I gave you you're the GM for this. You're the Eagles fan, so.
Oh, man, this is hard. Okay, go back one more time. Let me because I got a minute.
Yeah.
And then we got Banks, Wilson. Brian Branch is the best. I'd go Brian Branch. I'm convinced. I like Brian Branch.
Okay, so let me send the card in now.
He's 6 foot. The only thing I need Brian Branch to do is gain weight like Brian Dawkins. He's the same height as Dawkins. He needs to gain like 10 to 20 pounds. And I'm down with Brian Branch.
Okay. Then the front pick is going in.
And hopefully we could get Robinson at 30. We still got the 30th pick,
Exactly. So now Washington is on the clock.
What do they need? What are their needs? They need a
They're going to need so much.
yeah
It says probably offensively. Let me take a
linebacker.
look at quarterbacks for a second. Let me see if who I'm thinking about. Oh, not wide receiver. I said quarterback. Sorry. Oh, I didn't start the clock. Sorry. Did you start the clock?
I did. Sure
Okay.
did.
How much time do you have on yours?
450.
Okay, I'm gonna just go with yours. All right, Tanner McKee. I only was only looking
Oh,
because
Hendon
of
Hooker's there.
Hendon Hooker, and that's kind of what I was thinking too. But um,
I think they're just so dead set on what their decision with the UNC quarterback that they got.
yeah, I think they're more. That's why I just wanted
Yeah.
to look at
Just look, yeah.
Osiris
Cyrus is there.
and
He's a possibility to go to the Eagles of the 30th pick.
yeah, but you know what? Because Wilson dropped so much, he has to be the pick. He has to be the pick
Yeah.
because he's there, and he dropped so far, and because of his rating. And you have with Chase coming back from his knee injury. You're not sure.
Oh, and I can't wait for the next pick. But I agree. I'm going to go with Wilson, and I agree with you. I think that is more. It's either going to be him or Cansey. I could also see Cansey because
I
Washington's
went
also
with
known for
Wilson,
doing either or. But I think I'm going to go Wilson. Wilson, we're set
and,
on it.
and I can
We
almost
set
tell
the clock.
you this.
Clock is going. I think this one's Joey Porter.
Nope, I think it's an offensive tackle. Every Steeler
Oh,
fan that I
Darnell Wright. You think Darnell Wright's going?
Yep, every Steeler fan, even my pops, was saying they need an offensive tackle. Yes, Porter Jr. would make sense here too, but you can get defensive backs later. The tackle pool is starting to fizzle out. Now, the only thing about the Steelers is they can pick at pick number 32 going into the second round. So that might be the only thing because yeah, you have Dewan Jones still there. If you or Roger Jones might slip.
Uh
Those
huh.
are the only two that I could see. All the
Man,
other two you could any of these four could be there late in the round.
hold up.
So
What about Nolan? I'm seeing articles with Nolan Smith and our offensive tackle Broderick Jones. Is he there?
yeah, Roger Jones is there. I was just talking about him, but I'm
Yeah.
also saying as far as the defensive backs, you have cornerbacks that are there, if it's a
Hmm.
cornerback that they need. Now, if it's a safety, that's a different story. But if it's a cornerback, there's a plethora of cornerbacks that are available for them to pick later too,
Later
as
round.
far as
That
Pittsburgh.
makes sense. Yep.
So I
It's
would think
more in demand.
I would lean more towards right, or if you need a left tackle, then it's Harrison. So if it's right tackle, what's good, NYG? Thanks for tapping in, bro. I
Why do they got
appreciate you.
Broderick Jones though? I just want to know why he's moved back and they. I guess this article is. I don't know if it's old. Am I reading an old article? Let me
I
see
don't
when
know.
this article came out because I'm reading two different articles say the same thing. No, April 13th. 20. Both articles.
Roger Jones is a good tackle. Yes, he is. That's what I'm saying. What you call it? What's on Neymar? Um, um, PFF is just rating Harrison higher than Jones. They're not saying he's a bad player. He's still
Right.
first round quality. It's just where they're rating him. That's
Yeah,
all
I
it
would
is.
go with Darnell Wright. I'm surprised he hasn't gone already. And many articles had Darnell Wright already off the board.
Exactly.
So I'm going to agree with you. And I see many articles have the Steelers, like you said, getting offensive tackle. So I think they're set on offensive tackle. It makes sense if the Steelers don't get their offensive tackle, the Steelers are going to raid. They're
Yeah,
going to raid.
the only thing I was saying as far as later, because remember they pick at pick number 32. So that's why I was just like, all right, if you want to go cornerback, you can, but I would probably everyone that I know has said tackle. They're screening tackle, so or offensive line. Let me say that. They're screaming offensive line. So that's why I said that. But I mean, you also have Kalijah Cansey from Pitt. I mean, I'm not saying take him, but there is that storybook situation where he's from Pitt. He knows the area. They know him. You could still get a tackle or a cornerback later in the draft. There's still talent there. Even if you take Cansey because he wasn't expected to be this far, you can get a tackle at 32 and get a cornerback later in the late second into the third round also. So that's why it's just like, all right, but I'm saying to myself, tackle, tackle,
Yeah,
tackle, tackle, tackle.
I agree, and I think Darnell Wright will be off the board by now. Just the way this draft is gone, it's been fun with the moving up and seeing teams
Mm-hmm.
some weapons in advance. But I still think Darnell Wright will be gone by now. I
All
think he
right,
should be off the board.
I'm
I think
sending
I
the
agree
card
with you.
in.
Go steal.
I'm sending it in now.
All right, resetting the clock. Reset. Starting the clock. All right, the
Okay,
Patriots
yeah.
are back on the board, and that I could. Wow.
Guess what?
Yeah,
It's either
I could totally see this.
can't see.
Yep, can't see.
He's falling to him, so it's just like, yeah, take him. So, because if he doesn't go, I'm almost guaranteeing you he's going to within the next two picks to either
The Buccaneers, I
the
could see it, or the
Buccaneers or the
Seattle Seahawks.
Seahawks.
Yeah,
So it's or do we shoot down to Nolan Smith for the Patriots because Smith is really an outside
that's what I was
linebacker. So
thinking. That was my only other option was that I could see the Patriots going Nolan Smith, but I they do need
let's
an
see what
edge.
let's see what the chat is saying.
But there's other
Uh,
edges they can get. They can get an edge at 46. Go to all the
uh,
go to all the edge. Yeah, let's just see what's going on there.
I mean
Yes,
Miles
Miles
Murphy.
Murphy's still there. There's a lot of good
Well,
edges
those
still
guys
there.
will probably be going, but if I'm looking, not really, because really I would say around 40, unless they trade back up in the second round. Because I mean, Tui Loto is good. He's good. You might get here. Herbert is late. I mean, yeah, you can still get edges later. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say you can't. So what's up, Mission Man? Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate everyone for tuning in. The five that are watching right now. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like today's episode. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you subscribe to Further AM as well as myself.
Thank you.
We really appreciate this. So, but let's continue on with what we're doing now. So. We're at pick number 18. It's
What
going
about
pretty smoothly.
offensive? What about tackles? Because they do need a tackle. Just see
And yeah, you do got a new OC. So, I mean, Harrison is there, man. And Jones. I
and
mean,
Jones.
the two Joneses. Um, so it's a matter of do we go.
Man, that's a hard one. What do you think? I think it's either going to be a tackle or the edge.
O'Brien's going to.
Well,
O'Brien is. Thanks for subscribing, bro.
but who's
O'Brien
best
is going.
available? You said there was
Huh?
another. There was another pick. Click out of here, just real quick.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
close it
just
out. We got
uh,
2 minutes.
fancy
Yeah,
still.
Cansey, Banks,
Yeah,
Porter Jr., and Brees, and Nolan Smith.
I've seen articles where Patriots might get Joey Porter.
Okay.
See if I can go
I'm
back.
looking at what they need, though. I mean, realistically, what they need.
Right, realistically.
And then
Uh,
you have a new OC. You have a new OC, so he's going to want to work with Mac Jones. Mac Jones was brutalized last year with the sacks. So, you know, got a minute and 30
yeah, why
left.
I know why am I seeing Joey Porter Jr. Penn State going to the Patriots at 14 and two different articles just came out. That's all I'm just saying.
No,
Something
I get you.
changed.
There's articles. I've seen articles where he's going
Yeah.
in the top 10. I'm looking at. I see what I'm doing is playing this board, and I'm looking at what
What's
they
the best
need.
available? Yeah, and their needs
Yeah,
also
what
as
do they
well. Yeah.
need? So, and they brought in Bill O'Brien. Remember, that's the other thing. Bill O'Brien is literally going to be running the whole
It's got to
offense.
be an edge, and you want to know why? I think they just got to outbeat the Bucks and the Seattle Seahawks here. What do you think on that?
I
Or
don't think they need an edge over an offensive lineman because of Mac Jones. You know,
Okay,
think about that. He was beaten up last year. Your
he
quarterback
was.
rotation, you know, why? Because you weren't protecting the quarterback. You at least got to protect that quarterback because anything you do on defense, yeah, you know, it's all right. But if your offense ain't doing anything, think about that Jets game. They won because of the defense, but what happened with the Jets? You have all the talent, but your quarterback play was atrocious. But now, if your offensive line is not good, that game, their offensive line was not good against the Jets. If the
Correct.
Jets just did anything, oh, you didn't see the. I don't know if you saw the game. So right now, I'm going with the offensive tackle. I'm actually going to go Anton Harrison from Oklahoma. You know what? Or do I
Yeah.
want to go? I'm going Roger Jones.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I'm going, and we're out of time. Got to pick.
Yeah, I just selected it
Okay, good. Yeah, that's what I think. I now, Buccaneers are on the clock.
and reset,
Yep.
and we're good. Okay, so now the Buccaneers are on the clock, and right now I'm going to say two things: it's either Cansey, and pardon me, how far down is he? Michael Mayer.
Michael Mayer.
Yeah, the tight end from Notre Dame. He's almost like a carbon copy of Brock,
Okay.
but um, I mean, you have whatchamacallit over there, but Cansey falling this far. Bucks need
I
a
know
quarter.
this
Yeah,
is
we
a
know
tough one.
that. We know Tampa Bay needs a quarterback. Michigan Man is saying Tampa Bay needs a quarterback.
Baker Mayfield is who they're going to rely on.
Exactly. So, but it's a matter of now. The thing is, Cansey because he would help their defense too, because they need an interior defensive lineman. Um, wow. Oh boy.
I'm seeing a lot of articles of they're taking Nolan Smith. This article says they'll take Will Levis, and this article says they'll take Broderick Jones. So nothing's helping me out here.
They need a tight end to help out. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But it's all right. I can't believe Cansey keeps dropping. I
And then
can't.
tight end, they've got yeah,
Yeah,
on it.
no. If we look at tight end, let me look at the tight. Show you. All right, Mayor, and but you have tight ends later in the draft. I mean, you have Darnell Washington, Luke Musgrave, Sam
Yeah.
LaPorta,
The
Tyler
dude from
Kraft.
Michigan is also really good.
Yeah, Shoemaker, Kuntz, Wiley. You know, Payne Durham is also a good one. Late, late, late. So, um, you can get tight ends maybe in the second to third round, um, and still have weapons. Um, uh, what's up, Almighty Finesse? Thanks for tuning in, bro. Make sure you like this episode today. So thank you for popping in, man. I really appreciate you. Um, uh, Mission Man says they better get Cansey. Um, but see, now you got me thinking about that Nolan Smith, though, bro.
Yeah, it's hard. This is definitely a hard one. They have so
Have
many
you?
options because they could pick.
Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. The Chargers want to move up to 2 spots. See, they can move back.
What do the Chargers want? They need a cornerback.
Yeah, and there's a load of cornerbacks right
Yeah.
now. But see, if they want to move up just for literally, you're moving up 2 spots, 3 spots, and there's a plethora of cornerbacks here. There are now. If you're rating them, you want these guys.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, but let me see. No, I was going to in terms of the trades. I got distracted.
Yeah.
It
What else is there?
wasn't that. It was I wanted to see Kansas City. Oh no, I'm not trading that far back. No, Minnesota. You might be able to get 23 and 87. I got a minute left. Let's
Yeah, 1
see.
minute.
Ooh, that, no, it won't be accepted. Minnesota's giving up too much because they don't have any draft picks. But hey, they're saying it, so I'm going to do the trade with Minnesota.
Okay.
Okay, so Minnesota is on the clock and they need a defensive lineman, and guess what? That's where Cansey goes to because
There
he's
you go.
dropping. I get
Yeah,
it.
all
I
right.
get it. I get it. I get it. He's dropping it. They don't want to take a chance. So here we go. Seahawks are on the line, so you need a center or we guard or
I think this one's gonna be Deontay Banks.
yeah.
I'm reading 3 different articles that
No,
Deontay.
it makes sense. It makes sense. You could put Banks over there because they got whatchamacallit. You can move what the other cornerback, Kobe Bryant. He's a nickel
Mhm.
cornerback anyway, so it solidifies. I was just thinking more on the lines of Brian Brise, but I do. You know what? Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
You want to read? We got plenty of time. We just started the clock. Like we could talk about it. Like I see here.
I was
Uh,
just thinking of Brian Brise or do what trade offers do they have? They need a pass rush. Sickle, thanks for tuning in, bro. Um, let me go back. Let me go back. It makes sense. Who do we pick for them the first time? Wait a minute. I forgot who. The first time they got Jalen Carter. Yeah, adding Nolan Smith, that would solidify that defensive line for them with that edge rush. Yes, because they still. I mean, they play that base cover too. So Seattle plays that base too. So
mhm.
yes, they have decent quarterback play. Nolan Smith makes a whole lot of sense now as a linebacker, edge rusher coming off that edge. Yeah, good call. Good call. Good call. Radisicle. I hope I say Radisicle. I hope I'm saying it right. Um, it makes sense.
Yeah, Nolan Smith was the other one.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that's what I'm saying. Nolan Smith
Yeah.
makes a whole lot of sense.
Yep.
It was just Brian Brise because he's a defensive line. He gets good pressure up in the middle with good push right into a quarterback's face. So, um, yeah, let's go with Nolan Smith. That's the pick. Next on the clock is the Chargers. Guess what? You were talking about the cornerback play before. That's what they need, and it's sitting right there. They have their choice of two. So it's a matter of do we want to give them Banks or do you want to go with Porter Jr.?
Hold up. To the
Let's
Chargers. And
yeah,
I
the
got.
Chargers.
Let's see. I'm seeing all these different articles of them getting different wide receivers for some odd reason. But yeah, I just don't see why. Let me see real quick. Wide receiver, linebacker. What was that? It says small. Let me.
Cornerback.
Oh,
It's
cornerback.
wide
Oh yeah,
receiver,
yeah, yeah.
linebacker,
There it is.
cornerback.
Yeah, you're right. And their guys are there. Uh,
Let's look at the wide receivers. You're going to start with Zay Flowers.
yeah, that's what they
See now
have.
with wide receivers, remember because this
There's
draft
so
has
many of
so
them.
many wide receivers. I mean, if we keep scrolling down, right now all the wide receivers are still there.
Yeah, they're all there. Yeah, there's so
They,
many
they,
to choose from this draft class. There's not high in demand because there's so many great ones to choose from. So you really got to nitpick on wide receivers this year. You got to go to cornerbacks. There's just
that's why I
that's
said
the
is
most
do
important
we
thing right now. I think in the NFL for any team is finding the best cornerback in the league. I think every team wants one.
so is it Banks or is it Porter Jr.?
see here.
I would say, yeah, Mr. Man, the sweet spot is in the third round because a lot of those wide receivers are going to be there. So I agree with you. In terms of that, that is a good sweet spot, late second going into the third round. So, I mean, cornerbacks is the same thing. If we take a look at the cornerbacks, honestly, I mean, there's a plethora of cornerbacks too that are available. So they could go Addison or linebacker. They just got J.C. Jackson, and they just paid for Samuel. I forgot about that Samuel Jr. over there. Thank you, bro. You know what? You're right. Addison does make a whole lot of sense now. What do you think? What do you think further?
What, wide receiver?
Yeah, here. Let me let you see what he said. Radical said they could go Addison or LB. They just got J.C. Jackson. They just paid and they just paid
Right.
and Samuel Jr. So it does make sense to go wide receiver and to go
Yeah.
with
Let's see.
Jordan
Let me
Addison. I
let
mean
me see
Jordan
what this
Addison.
says. Yeah, I'm seeing analysts say it's either going to be, like I said, and one article said and Anderson, Jordan Anderson, and then I read two articles say they're going to pick Zay Flowers. These articles all came out today. The clock, we're out of time. We have 10 seconds. Take a pick. Either
Jordan
one,
Addison.
Zay Flowers or Anderson. Fine
I
with me.
just sent Addison. I just sent the
Anderson's
tag
awesome.
in.
All right, Baltimore on the clock. Starting the clock now. 5 minutes. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the way it's going to go. Oh,
Yeah.
this is where Robinson can go. Baltimore Ravens. They also need a corner.
Um,
They also need a cornerback,
they need cornerbacks, and guess what?
and they also got Hendon Hooker. This guy has an article just came out today that Ravens might take Hendon Hooker.
No, 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 not in the first round. Not in the first round. I can't
I
see
can't
that.
see that either. I don't know why this guy's saying that in this article.
Well, look, they
It's a mock
probably also
draft.
they basing it probably on Lamar, the situation. Plus Hooker's coming off of that knee injury, so I get it. I do understand it, but I'm going to be honest with you. Banks is the spot. Don't forget he's from. It's just a matter of, like we said before, is it Banks or is it Porter Jr.? And to me, it makes sense to go with Deontay Banks.
Yeah, they need a
Wait a minute,
cornerback.
wait a minute, wait a minute. They playing a lot more press? See, Banks plays a lot more off, while Porter Jr. plays more press. It might be Porter Jr.
It
Yeah,
also could be a wide receiver. They could
Ravens
get
go with
Zay
the hometown
Flowers.
guy, Banks.
They
Yeah,
could
you
get
know what? Radisicle said that he goes with the hometown guy, Banks. So yeah,
Banks.
well,
Yeah, that's why I was saying Banks is in Maryland because it's right next door, like literally like
he's in
less than an
Baltimore is
hour
right
away.
here in Maryland. I get it. I get it.
But it also be Joey Porter. Penn State's right there too. I mean, they're not that far away either.
All right, got it. So cancel. There we go. Deontay Banks.
Banks is in.
The card is
All right,
in.
let me reset the clock.
Reset the clock.
Clock is back on. Okay, the Buccaneers are back. They traded backwards.
Yep. And guess what? They can go tight end. They can go offensive line. Mayer's there. They can go interior defensive line. Brise. Um,
Let's see.
they
Let
can
me.
go whatever they want. It's there.
They could also go with Robinson too. Are they trusted on Rashid White and Chase Edmonds and Vaughn? They could also get a running back? I don't think so. I don't think that's what they're going to do though. They need other
Mhm.
needs. Like you said, tight end.
No, I mean you make a good point about the running back because with their offense, they're going to need somebody to run the rock and hold it down. But you
Mm-hmm.
still have some good wide receivers. The tight end. I mean, you want to surround Baker Mayfield with as much weaponry as possible. So I understand where you're coming. Robinson can catch out of the backfield, so he's a good point. I
Mhm.
mean, that's something that's outside the box.
Right.
Um,
Just real quickly, just real fast, could you just show me what quarterbacks are still available? What's the next best one?
oh, the whatchamacallit from Stanford is the first quarterback. Tanner McKee. Then you got Hendon Hooker, and then Dorian Thompson Robinson. I
Man,
mean, McKee is a good. He's a pocket passer, 6'6", stands tall. He's more athletic than you think. Personally, I think he should be rated a lot
they
higher.
can get a
But
quarterback in a later round. They have
the
plenty.
only the only question I have with this is, yeah, you can, but not a starter caliber where to replace Baker Mayfield, because a lot of those other guys are
Right,
backup quarterbacks. The only two, Hooker and McKee. Hooker would be higher, but because of his knee issue, because he's coming off of
right.
a ACL, that's why he's where he's at. But other than that, um, but yeah, you might be able to get him. You could take him in the second round, so they could still do that. So it's just a matter of, do they go with the tight end? I mean, do they go with Brian
That's
Brisset?
what I was thinking, or Miles Murphy.
True, Miles Moore. But if anything, I would,
I would,
because
yeah, agree. Yeah, I think that's what
it's
it's gonna be.
what you call is getting up there. They lost a lot of their interior defensive linemen.
They sure did.
So and plus you have a defensive minded head coach. So but they did also fire their OC too. I forgot about that too. So um, but no. What do you think? You want to go Brise, or you think we should go Miles Murphy?
Okay,
It's
let me
good.
think. Let me see. Just real quick, look at it. See, they got Greg Gaines and Logan Hall as their edges, and then the Vita Villa, and then they don't really have a backup. They only have one backup for Vita Villa. It's a Senate, and so
Ryan
that's
Brise
where,
is the Brian
and that's
Brise.
yeah. I think honestly here, I think because they have plenty of edges available, but they have no back. I think they're going Breezy, Brian
Okay,
Breezy. I think that would they have to because they have
let's
no
let,
backup.
let's go with it, bro. I like that thought. I like where you're thinking. So uh,
That's why definitely it says defensive line on their needs.
now we have Jacksonville on the line, and let's restart the clock. So guard, center, do or edge or corner or defensive back. Personally, I think this is Joey Porter Jr. Saying he's thinking the same way. Radisicle is thinking the same way as me. Joey Porter Jr. to Jacksonville, but you want to make sure we talk about it. Miles Murphy. Let's look at trade options. I don't want to forget that. You have the Steelers saying bump down into 32 to 24. So if you did that, let me see
Yeah,
something.
let's see what. Yeah, that's a good because I Steelers need
No, they're
me.
not gonna or they're
They
not gonna
don't.
accept that.
Steelers
So
don't have enough picks. They're really in.
yeah, so that's why I'm like,
I don't
no,
think
I'm
that'll
not gonna.
happen. I don't see Steel
Wait a
Nation
minute, I'm gonna
giving
see
away
who's
what they
after
got.
him. The Seahawks at 37. Now that
Well,
might.
shoot, I didn't restart the clock. This clock's on you,
I
man.
have it. I have it.
Okay, good. Sorry.
He said, "Hold the Steeler hostage for Joey Porter Jr." That does make sense. They want to come up for Joey Porter Jr. So hey, let's see.
I don't see him giving the 49th pick away. There's no way. I do 120 and then next year, fifth round. Yeah, take the 80 away too, though.
No, 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 no,
You don't
no, no.
see that? No, really? Okay.
No, if you look at the point, there's a um here.
Yeah, I
Let
guess
me
you're
see.
right. You're right. If you're going to move up, By the way, your camera's working fantastic. By the way, I don't see a problem because I know you're on the laptop right now, but everything's working fantastic. I see you great.
Uh, this is what I was looking at. This was to see if you trade Jacksonville 740, so that's
Okay.
590. All right, no, you're right, you're right. So 590, 740. So they would need another 130, 150 points. So 150 would take them to okay, the third round, the bottom of the third round. So the bottom of the third round, that's these. I'd have to take this out. That's this right there,
Okay.
according to 88. But no, they'd have to give up. They'd have to give up 32 and 88. So they're saying this is going to go through because of the value. That's what they would have to do. But you
Yeah.
could probably get this right here. He said the Steelers should trade down, but they want Joey Porter Jr. I know what that is.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
Here it is.
All right. I'm going Joey Porter Jr. now. That's got to be the pick. Wait.
Yep,
Could it be Miles Murphy? Let's just talk it over real quick. There's still plenty of time. We got 2:30 or 2 minutes, right?
roughly, yeah.
Defensive back.
Earlier,
They really, and Mike Tomlin. He's a
they took
he's
a
a he's a
tackle earlier.
defensive back guru. Mike Tom
That's why I say is
Tomlin. He's a
Joey Porter
seven five
Jr.
seven. He's from my area. I know Mike Tomlin. He was at Williamsburg. He went to William and Mary and coached there before
Don't
being a
forget
Steeler.
Joey Porter Jr.'s father also played for Pittsburgh. It makes a
Oh,
whole lot of sense.
that makes a whole lot of
And
sense.
he played
And
at Penn State.
the Rooney family loves it.
Here we go. That's the pick.
That
Next
makes
up is the
no
New
sense.
York Football Giants.
There we go. I like that pick a lot. Oh, the
And
Giants. This
guess
one's
what?
all on you, man. I'll help you out.
Oh my
I think
gosh! Oh my gosh! It's there! It's there! It's there! It's there! What? Oh my god! Oh my gosh!
you're
Oh my
excited.
gosh!
Look at you.
No, you don't understand. My whole thing was, I know Zemar, you want Zay Flowers. Guess what? I could trade back to pick number 32 and get more picks, an extra second round, and draft a center and a wide receiver in the second round.
Wow. There you go. That's right. You get Weibler too.
No, you can get Weipler, Smith.
There's a lot of there's a lot. That's right.
I did this.
Okay, let's see.
Are you going? No, I knew you weren't going to do that. But no,
Try 127. Take out 120. It's not too far behind.
no. But we got to pick 128. That's why I'm saying I'm not doing that.
Oh,
Um, I'm going to
wow.
play with it. All right, now I'm going to do what you just said.
Oh, still not.
No, it's not going to do it.
185.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do it. Yeah. Let me see something. All right, I knew you weren't going to do it. All right, I was afraid of that. Last one.
Oh,
All
went
right,
through. There we go. It's like
Jacksonville is on the clock now.
Jacksonville's back. All right. Didn't they already pick something?
No, we
Right?
traded back.
Oh, they traded back.
They
Okay,
traded
okay.
back.
And they need an edge
So
and they need a cornerback. Miles Murphy's got to be the answer why they
Miles
went back.
Murphy.
Absolutely. That dude's a savage. The other one would be Will McDonald, but I think I value Miles Murphy way over Will McDonald. If Miles Murphy's there, I'm taking him. What is your take on that?
I just sent the
All right.
pick in.
All right. Reset the clock. All right. Dallas is on the board. Dallas.
Guess what? We
Robinson's
already know
there.
for the most part.
Robinson's there.
We don't want to talk about it, but I mean, you can also do Will McDonald because he's an edge rusher outside. But yeah, Now, the only other question I would say is, would they go Michael Mayer, because they lost on Dalton Schultz?
I'm thinking that right now. That was what I was actually going to bring up. That's ooh. And now I have a lot of faith in Pollard, but the only problem is when I read these articles, they do make sense. Pollard's only got a franchise tag. He's not the permanent answer.
Yeah,
And
I know. And Pollard is not a bell cow type of a running back.
but he's
I
a great
knew that.
running back, but I don't see him being a future. I don't know what
No, I
because
know.
the
We
Cowboys
look,
can get a running back next year, though. Think about that real quick. The Cowboys can get a running
not the
back next
Cowboys.
year.
Well, if that's the case, you can get running backs later in here. You got McBride,
Exactly.
who's a physical. You got what you call Thomas, who's from Utah. You know, you also got other little scat backs. But Bijan Robinson
He's from
is the
Texas.
type of running back who, if he's in the hole, he will make a defender miss. He has good speed. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. You can run him. You can run him. You can use him as a bell cow, so you can run him 20 to 25 times a game. You can't do that. You shouldn't do that with Pollard. So
Right.
that's the reason why I honestly I know it's going to be Robinson. I was just saying Mayer because of they lost Dalton whatever his name is. So
Hold up.
but that's the reason why I said that. So Rose, I'm gonna call you back.
Let me just double check here. There's plenty of time on the clock.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
Oh, I
I'm
didn't
also
even start.
I'm seeing Robinson. I'm also seeing let me see.
Robinson.
Hold up. I'm seeing Michael Mayer. I am seeing
Huh?
that. That is right.
Uh-huh.
Um,
I mean, unless you
and
want to
then
say
there
Zay
was another
Flowers,
tight end. There was another tight. Let me. Where's that
Dalton
article?
Kincaid, Dalton Kincaid.
Oh, no, Osiris Torrance.
That's the inside. That's an interior offensive lineman.
Yeah, and where's sorry, I'm scrolling down. Darnell Washington, tight end from Georgia.
You can get him in the third round. You also have the other tight ends that I looked at earlier. There's a plethora of tight ends that you can
Yep.
get. There you go. You got Laporta, you got Musgrave, you got Washington, you got Tucker
Yeah.
Craft.
It
So
would
there.
be Mayer. It would be Mayer, or it's going to be Robinson.
And to be honest with you, if I'm thinking
Or
Dallas,
could it be Anton Harris though, and boost up that offensive? No, I just
no.
no. That's not one of the.
It's Robinson.
It's
Let's
got to
not
be
overthink it.
Robinson.
Let's
It's
not
got to be.
overthink it. Let's
Yep.
not overthink it. I hate
Yep.
it as a Giants fan, but
Me too, dude.
it
Me
to make
too.
sense.
Like, is there any other way we could get around this one? You're right. We just got to suck it up. It's Robinson.
Dallas comes up
All right,
now.
reset. Put back on the clock. All right, the Bills.
Do they trade? Do the Bills trade? Nah, I'm not trading back that far. No, no, that's way too far. Sorry, screw that. Um, didn't the Bills lose an offensive tackle?
I didn't hear.
No.
I haven't kept up with the room anything with.
So
Sorry.
right now, if we look at defense,
Look,
let me look at
look.
safeties for a second. Let me.
Tackles. They got Dion Dawkins
Mm-hmm.
and Spencer Brown,
Okay.
Tommy Doyle, and David Quesenberry.
Brian Branch is already off the board, guys.
Brian Branch.
Brian Branch.
We went to the Eagles.
Oh yeah, that's right. He went to the Eagles. He went to the Eagles at number 15.
Yes, they need a wide receiver. This person says
So
Drew Sanders, linebacker, Arkansas. This and
they
oh yeah,
did lose whatchamacallit. They did lose whatchamacallit. They won a wide receiver, Nimar. Okay.
wide receiver.
So, but they also need a defensive back too. So
Yes,
do
they
you
do.
take Forbes there? But if you're saying they want a wide receiver,
They do Zay Flowers.
okay.
Zay
So we'll
Flowers,
go with it.
I think,
Here we go. That's the
fell
pick.
off the board by now. Let's see what this article says.
And guess what? It's going to take a.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it, but I already know. Let me set the clock. Let's set the clock.
Reset. Yep.
All right. Now let's talk about this. Cincinnati, interior defensive line, defensive back, or tight end. So we have a tight end, we have a defensive back that's there for them. And how many still in this? Shout out to the six that are in here watching. Thanks for tuning in. I really
Thank you.
appreciate you guys. So make sure you guys like and share this episode. And if you haven't subscribed to myself or Further AM, make sure you do so. We really appreciate it. You guys can help us continue to grow our program. So thank you. They could use a linebacker, the Cincinnati, yeah. But guess what? They also can use a tight end.
Yeah, and Mayers is there. And
And
with
you
Burrow
also
and
have,
Mayers, that sounds like a match.
but you also have on the other side, if you say defensive back, because um, you can go with fours because they have Eli Apple as a cornerback.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
but seriously, um, I'm thinking Michael Mayer to go along with that offense. I mean, I know they already have a tight end. Um, with what's his name over there, they have wide receivers, so there's no doubt about that. You know, they now what's called that running back, but they can get a right end running back later. So that's why I say it's cornerback or a tight end. So, um, I mean, offensively they are explosive. Could they use an offensive lineman? Could they use? They've always had
No,
issues with
is Harrison a right tackle?
Harrison. It can play either or.
Okay. I mean, they got Jonah Williams questionable right now. Orlando
Is that?
Brown, Clarkson Carmen, their
Oh, that's
backup
right. They did
Collins is
sign Orlando. No,
questionable.
no. Take the tackle out. I'm taking the tackle out. I forgot about Orlando Brown. You're right. They did sign him. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it goes down to Mayer or
Irv
Ford.
Smith Jr. is their tight end. I don't know who their back Devin Asasi I can't
So
say.
you guess what? You just answered my question. Irv Smith Jr. They need a tight end. We're going tight end.
Yeah, I think,
Michael
and
Mayer.
and he's from Notre Dame. He's right next to the Bengals. It'd be perfect match for Burrow. I like it. And their number one need right now is a tight end. All right, the Saints are
All
on the
right.
clock.
So,
Woo, we're getting there.
oops. So right now, let's restart. And who's on the clock? The Saints. Um, they need. Guess what? I'm thinking about it. I'm really thinking about it right now.
You think of Terrence?
Yes. Remember, you just signed what you call it as quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
They just signed what's his name for the Raiders, Carr. So the question is, do you want to? You still want to protect that all defensively? I'm not too worried about them. You might say it here. They always have good defense there. So I'm more focused on the offense, especially the offensive line. Um, so that's why I'm looking at Torrance because it makes a whole lot of sense. A Villa can also play either or, but it might be a little bit too high. Now they could trade with Miami, oh no, to go back from 29 to 30, 51. You know what? I'm going to play with it for a second. Guess what I'm going to do?
I
Nope,
think
it wasn't
I
going to be
think
accepted.
I think I know who they're going to draft if it and the availability is there right now. And I'm seeing two
Cool.
articles came out today, and they need a defensive line. I think they're going to get Maisie Smith from Michigan, and let's talk about it. And the reason why I'm saying that, if you look at their depth chart, yes, they have Shepard, yes, they have Sanders, but they only have a second. They have no third, no fourth. They have no depth on defensive tackle right now on that team.
What about the offensive line? You just paid all that money to Carr.
Right. They need guards for
And
sure.
that's why I
Uh,
said. That's why I said was saying about what you
they
call. What is their depth chart? What are their guards right now? What are their interior
Okay.
offensive line?
So left tackle is Penning. Left guard is Pete. Center McCoy. They don't even it doesn't even look like they have a backup for a center. And then right guard is Ruse. They have no backup for right guard, it looks like. And then right tackle Ryan Ramitsky.
Yeah, and they've always been getting ish. They've always had issues with pressure right up the middle.
Yeah. What do
That's
they got
why to me
available? What do they got available? Oh,
right
Terrence.
now, Osiris Torrance and Steve Avila. I said Avila is too early. That's why I said Torrance. Torrance is the best interior offensive lineman. He's at 36. You're picking right now at 29. It's not that far off in terms of value, so it does make sense. And to
But
trade back to
but
51, no,
it,
I'm not trading back to
what
51.
is
So,
what is Mazzy Smith's rank right now? I
well,
think
he's
it's
ranked
higher
over
than
him, yes.
Terrence, isn't it?
No, here, clear this out. Clear out. Mazzy Smith is ranked at 33. Torrance is at 36. So their ranking is not that far off.
Right. And what is their top need? Oh yeah, offensive line for sure. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's but they need both. That's for sure. They definitely need
Yeah,
both
no,
because they have no backups for their defensive line, and this would help with that. But it would also help out with our offensive line, which they also don't have backups for that. So they're both in
it,
need of both situations. You can flip a coin here.
let's
I
see
you can go
something.
either or. You could literally go either or on this one.
See, they can also get Keanu Benton. You could also get Siaki Iko because they have 40 and 71.
Right
So they have the picks to get one of these guys. And even
later.
if you want to go Kobe Turner later in the draft, so I mean it's there.
What are the
So
cornerbacks available right now? Oh, Forbes is there. They do need a cornerback. I would. This is a hard one. What are their edges? Let me look at their edges real quick.
I
Uh,
got 50 seconds.
they got Cameron Jordan
Yeah.
and Carl Ganderson.
And don't forget Cam Jordan bumps inside sometimes.
Yeah. Carl Ganderson too. You could go edge. You could go edge. You could go defensive. You could go offensive line. This is a hard one.
No,
This
it's
is.
not.
I
No,
could
it's
go with
not.
anyone.
No, it's not.
Good
I already
Terrence.
know what I'm doing.
Do it.
I'm going interior offensive line.
I'm ready for the Eagles.
Because you signed that quarterback, I want to protect him. I
Yeah, I
have to.
agree.
You invested so much money in him. I have to protect him. The Eagles are back on the clock.
All right. And our first pick was that safety.
Hmm.
And Mazzy Smith, does it go down?
Yeah, I can go down. Eagles need guard, center, deep interior defensive line, safety. You already got the safety. Wide receiver, you can still get.
Yeah, I can get wide receiver way later. Uh guard.
I mean, you got linebacker there at
You can get guard
38.
later.
Oops, sorry.
We got the
Sam
safety.
Laporta.
Go back up. Go
So,
back up. See here.
all right.
We really need man, I'd go Mazzy Smith. If the Saints didn't take him, I would end up we need to improve. Barnett isn't gonna happen when Fletcher Cox isn't gonna last much longer. George Davis
Mm-hmm.
needs a break. And that's just where I see Howie Roseman going with this one. We got the safety. I don't see Forbes being an Eagle. The only thing I could see is maybe Will McDonald. We could take that edge. We could also take.
Okay.
Well, I honestly think if Mazzy Smith is there, the Eagles are going to fall on him immediately.
Okay. So that's the pick. You want Mazzy?
Absolutely,
All right.
absolutely.
So
That would.
let me
Oh my
go
God, we
ahead
would be
and
so
send.
dominant.
And your boy will love that.
Oh yeah, Mitch. He's doing
Yeah,
the
Mr.
Phillies game right now live with Rob.
All right. So now let's restart the clock. All right. So now we have the Super Bowl champions.
Oh yeah,
Do
what are
you
they?
want to go
They're
wide
due?
receiver now or mm,
Oh, this is a
let me
tough
see
one
something.
here.
Let me see what's the trade pick. The Jets want to give from 42 up. Let me see something.
Let's see here.
We go with Jets. 42, 43, 31 won't be accepted. Uh,
Okay.
Jets, no, no, that's way too much, fellas. You're gonna have
I
to give
got
up a whole lot.
two different articles here saying the Chiefs will pick an edge, and then one article saying that they'll pick an offensive tackle, Donwan Jones from Ohio
Dewan
State.
Jones, Dewan Jones is there, but if Anton Harrison is there, you would go him over Jones.
Exactly. And then what
Didn't they just?
go to the edges real quick just to see what everything's at.
Well,
Just
you have McDonald, you have Uzama there right now. You have
oh yeah,
BJ
oh I see, I
Ojolari.
see. I'm sorry. It's just so
No, no,
small.
wait a minute. Let me bring them all up. Let me bring them all up so we can see. So, Ojolari, Adedebo, Adebor, Tuti Lopo. I'm
Mm.
sorry, I'm in the wrong
Oh,
thing.
gotcha. It could be McDonald. I could see McDonald. It could be Zuma.
Mission Man says they need an edge too or a DT.
Yeah, they need an edge and they need yeah.
I mean, whatchamacallit goes into
But
free
Harrison's
agency
right
next year.
there, and they need a tackle.
But I would think more the edge more
I
than
do
anything.
too.
It's either edge or wide receiver because they did lose but you can still get wide
Wide
receivers
receivers
later.
later
So
around, yeah. Well, let's just hypothetically, we got plenty of time on the clock. Let's go look at wide receivers.
no, I did that. You got Josh Down as the number one right now. You got Downs, you got Dell, but you can also get them in the. You got Michael Wilson. You still got plenty of wide receivers that you can get later. I mean, I know I have other publications and ratings say Hyatt will be rated higher. You can probably get him in the second round, early or mid to late. But the second round, yeah, they pick at 63. So you can still get Michael Wilson, Rashid Rice, Jalen Hyatt. Those guys will still be
Oh yeah,
there.
Tillman. Oh yeah,
Yep. You got Tillman, Boutte, Mims, Reed, Scott, Palmer. Look at
yeah.
this.
Reed. Oh,
Your boy
Washington's
Mingo.
there. Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Mingo, Wheaton,
Xavier Hutchinson, Wicks. I mean,
Jones, Jarrett.
it's
Oh
it's filled with wide receivers. That's why right now I'm not reaching for Josh Downs.
no, I'd go like you said. I'd take that tackle right there, an edge or a defensive line, and I think
NYG, you're right. Downs is underrated, but they also have guys who don't they already have guys who kind of fit his position?
and in Mahomes is on point. You, I mean, you got a top elite quarterback that'll put it right in your
Yeah.
hand.
So
No
I
matter,
would
he'll make
if
you
I
look
was gonna
good. Mahomes will make you look good.
if I was gonna take a skill position, it probably would have been tight end. But that's only if one of the top two dropped. I mean, you still
Right.
have Laporta there, and you have Musgrave, but do you want to reach for those guys too? So, and then we were talking about Darnell Washington will still be there later. So it's who wants to trade? Oh, that was the Jets who wanted to trade with them. So it's I got a minute left. Um,
Dude, where is this Foskey Edge from Notre Dame? Is he there?
yeah, he's
I don't know why this
rated.
article says him.
Rated. Where is he? I saw him 62.
Oh, okay. Wow.
This is PFF. This is
Yeah,
not
yeah,
the
I know,
end
I
all.
know.
This is not
I'll
the end.
just be honest
But
with you. I think it'll be McDonald because he hasn't fallen yet. And and I read an article. It could be a Zuma either. You could take either or. I think it'll be
then
Felix
if I'm going to take either
Zuma,
one of those, it's going to be McDonald.
Kansas State. Yeah, or yeah, Will McDonald. I it has to be. Let's look at the
And
Chiefs.
there we
Let's
go with
start.
the first round. The first round is complete.
That was fun.
So let me see
Yeah,
some.
and yeah, I could see that Chiefs really do need edges.
No, I'm not trying. I'm just so just to recap real quick. You had Bryce Young number one, being taken number one. C.J. Stroud number two to the Texans. The Cardinals didn't trade, so they stayed with they went with Will Anderson. Devon Witherspoon in a trade with the Lions in Indianapolis was taken number 4. Jalen Carter went to number. Oops, sorry guys, sorry, my fingers. That's the one thing about my laptop. It's Jalen Carter went to number 5. Anthony Richardson with the trade went to number 6. Christian Gonzalez went to number 7. Jackson Smith and Jigba went to number 8 to the Falcons. The Titans traded with the Bears, and at pick number 9 they took Will Levis. 10 the Packers traded and moved up, and they took Quentin Johnson. The Bears then took Pete Skoronsky. The Texans with the 12th pick took Lucas Van Ness. At 13, the Jets went with Paris Johnson. 14, the Lions traded with the Patriots and took Dalton Kincaid. The Eagles with the trade back with the Packers at 15 took Brian Branch. Washington at 16 took Tyree Wilson. 17, the Steelers took Darnell Wright. 18, with the trade back, the Patriots took Broderick Jones. 19, the Vikings traded up and took Kalijah Kancey. 20, the Seahawks took Nolan Smith. 21, the Chargers took Jordan Addison. 22, the Ravens took Deontay Banks. 23, the Buccaneers traded and ended up taking Brian Brisset. 24, the Steelers traded with Jacksonville and took Joey Porter Jr. 25, Jacksonville then traded back up into the 25th spot with the Giants and took Myles Murphy. 26, the Cowboys took Bijan Robinson. 27, the Bills took Zay Flowers. 28, the Bengals took Michael Mayer. 29, the Saints took Osiris Torrance. 30, the Eagles took Maisie Smith. And 31, the Chiefs took Will McDonald. So that's the first round. That's what I did. And for a Giants fan, I did do I can't get it right now, but I did get a good value in terms of the draft. No, the Giants traded back into the to pick number 32 at in the second round. If I was going to pick, that's where I'm picking my center. That's where I would pick my center. We also picked up, I believe it was a 4th and a 5th round draft pick. So that's why I said, okay, I'm going to do all of that. Did I do that? That's what wait a minute. I should have wrote it down. So we have 2 second round draft picks. We have 80 and we have 89. I got 2 seconds and I got 2/3. So, but the point is, I got good value for it. Pick number 25. I had to do that. I'm sorry. It was there. And there we in the second round, I can get a center and a wide receiver. Or a defensive back. We can get 2 wide receivers in the third, whatever. We getting good value for that pick number 25. So, but that's pretty much it.
It felt very realistic, man. Like
Yes.
That's exactly what's
Yes.
going to happen. You don't expect, but there will be trades. There are things going to happen. It's not going to be just, there was that one year. Was it last year, or the year before, where like no one made trades, moved up really much? It was pretty much the whole first round.
Yeah. I think it was it last year? I don't remember.
I don't think it was last year because I remember the Eagles moved back.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles are like the only ones that do anything because remember the year before we took the Giants pick and we got we got Devontae Smith and all the Giants fans flipped out.
Exactly.
Y'all missed so bad and we cut you all off by 1.
No, but that's the point, and the other thing is we did this with 5 minutes, so they get 10 minutes, so it's a little bit more. But
Oh yeah,
you
a
can
lot
see,
more
you
time.
get the feel of it. Us just talking and trying to go through trades real quickly, looking at draft boards. They're going to be more efficient. They're going to have their positions already rated. It's going to be on the board, so they'll take someone off so they can look at it. They've done all their report. I'm doing stuff off the top of my heads, or a whole lot of things. So. But that 5 minutes was fast. So, and that's what's going to happen in the later round. So, but I'm going to go ahead and close this out. I'm going to, I got to figure out how to list all these picks. I'm going to figure all that out later, and I'll post it on my Twitter page or whatever. So, but again, thanks everyone for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to sit in with me. I'm probably going to do another one next week, maybe Wednesday or Thursday, and hopefully, I try. I wanted to try and get it broadcast on the Shadow Worlds radio, but we couldn't get it done today. So hopefully, I can get it done for next week. But if not, still do this, and hopefully, I can get more guys to join in. Um, maybe we up it to 10 minutes. I don't know. But right now, I just like the way this was, and it was cool. So um, that's pretty much it. Mission Man, thank you. Thank you to Mission Man, to Unpopular Opinion Sports for tuning in. Thanks to who else tuned in? Radical, Nimmer, Tudo. I know you were in there earlier. Who else? Who else? Trying to go all the way up. Almighty Finesse.
And shout out to Randy. He couldn't make it today because he got a job interview.
No, I
He's
know.
going to
I know
try to
he
make
texted
it
me.
late. Maybe he can make it when you do your next one. He'll be your next guest for
Yeah,
the
no,
next
he
one.
told me.
Yeah,
He
he's
told me
looking
Jalen
forward to
Hurts,
it.
LT Cards, thank you. Chad Schrader, thank you. Daniel Barry Sports Highlights, thank you. Funny Porat, thank you for tuning in. Again, I really appreciate you guys. You guys are really helping me out. So again, thank you. I look forward to seeing you all later. And until then, peace.
Great show.